right, guys, what's going on? Welcome everyone. I love watching that Pepe lore intro. It's classic, and it makes you feel bullish. So that's why we've always had that. But welcome guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Dano Crypto. On the channel, we show you guys how to make simple, effective, and easy moves in the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So the big talk of the town is tokenized stocks on the blockchain. And so now that it's actually becoming, a thing that we can actually transact with, we can actually start buying these. We've already, been able to have access to some, but now it really is starting to pick up the pace where we're getting, X stocks. We have Ondo. We have, we've actually talked about tokenized stocks back, almost a year ago, talking about Swiss cheese. There's a crypto called Swiss cheese that was on the Polygon blockchain that was talking about tokenizing the stock market way back. So we knew this was going to be a narrative that we should pay attention to, because Wall Street was eventually going to be on chain, and it was inevitable. So what we're seeing now is that it's starting to happen. We're starting to get that liquidity come in, but we're also starting to have different, purchasing options for people who want to get exposure to stocks, whether it be on chain, a tokenized representation of that stock, whether it be Apple, Tesla. And so OURBIT actually is getting exposure into these right now. We're going to get into this, and a lot of different exchanges are starting to trade these tokenized stocks. So it's pretty crazy. So it's the future, guys. It's the future. But that's not the only thing that people have their laser eyes on. It's Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin is getting ready to just explode. I mean, it's already tested up so close to the all-time high. The all-time high being, if we go back, I think the all-time high was around 111,000, almost 112,000, basically wicked up to as almost to the dollar, 112,000 right there. And then we have been basically trading sideways since then, and hit under 100K only one time since then, and every other time we've kind of just been trading around in this range. So we've just been trading sideways for a little bit now. And what we want to do is figure out, are they going to continue to keep pushing this thing sideways until it gets fully pinched, and then it starts to blast off into 120K, because that's the Fibonacci extension level. If you were going to pull from the recent high to the recent low, it basically goes right into that level of the first 618 fib extension once we break the 786. So we're basically sitting on the 786 right now, because we traded right up into it. We traded right past it, and that was that 109,000 level. So this would have been a level to eye from this bottom here if we were following the Fibonacci extension levels. And so now we have this really interesting 4-hour doji candle where we just got a big test up to 110. We had some consolidation to the downside because we have some sellers. And what happens is when we've been getting up into these levels, these high liquidity areas, we have old dormant Bitcoin addresses apparently waking up, and they start taking profits. And so what's happening is we're getting a redistribution from the old whales into new whales and new buyers. So it's kind of opening up the wave and kind of loosening up the supply from the old holders to the new holders, because that's how the coin gets redistributed. So the old wallets are starting to sell some have a little sell pressure to redistribute Bitcoin across, the people that are wanting to buy it now. And so this is people like BlackRock. This is the ETF issuers. It's, the treasuries, the companies that are setting up their own reserves with Bitcoin. And then we're getting state regulation reserves for Bitcoin coming down the pipe. So we see how this is being redistributed now, but also how the supply can still be strong. And we're going to get into Plan B's price prediction. We're going to get into some other people's price predictions of where we could go here towards the end of the year. We'll give our price prediction, and we're going to have some fun today. We're going to have fun. We were feeling a little down. We were feeling a little sidelined yesterday, And so we had to, we just kind of had to have a better attitude and have a better, outlook on the market and not get too upset. Sometimes it's easy for these markets to make you feel the FOMO, especially, when we were just breaking and just crushing it. We were just, the prices were just going up and up. Everything, all the altcoins were performing well. If you go to basically the daily, that's what it looked like yesterday. I mean, it was woo, 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 woo. I mean, it was like the alts were getting a nice little teaser. And it's interesting how we'll see 10% and see Bitcoin going up like 4%, and we're like, you want to be happy, because you want the markets to be doing good, but it's a weird feeling that you also feel mad at the same time because you could be sidelined, you could not have as much crypto as you want, you didn't have cash on the side to be able to buy dips, whatever it may be. The emotions start flying in, and no one ever said it was going to be easy to be navigating this game. Raw Paul made a good point on his live stream yesterday, where he was like, look, no one ever said this was going to be easy. You have to be able to ride through the most tumultuous, crazy, nasty swings of volatility. And because of that, if you can survive those, you will be rewarded for the stress and the anxiety and the whatever you may feel all through this journey, but you have to survive. You have to be able to learn and move and go and evolve through this along with the market. So then you understand that volatility, you feel the volatility, you can get better at navigating the volatility, and then in the cycles to come, you will be a sharpened knife. Like you will be your armor for going into these markets will be so strong. It's like mithril. So this is how we have to be. This is how we have to be, guys. And let's see. I don't know what's going on with this freaking chat. The chat box is just like not working, so we're just going to turn it off. But yeah, what's going on, everyone? I want to give a shout out to everyone who's here. It basically, right now, for some reason, even though we have all of the bullish catalyst in the world for people to be excited about crypto, it's a ghost town. It's literally just people that were, that if you came in 2021 or 2022, 2023, and you were able to stick around until now, it's just us. I feel like there's no new people in crypto. The interest just went out the window. It's just very strange, especially when it's the most bullish time to be paying attention to crypto and either acquiring crypto, going into, the money supply basically being dumped into these assets because they just, so that big, beautiful bill has a provision to raise the debt ceiling $5 trillion. And so what it does is it just basically keeps raising the debt ceiling and keeps raising it into where when they do print more money, it's just like, okay, then you can't default on the debt if you just keep raising the deficit wall or the ceiling, and it keeps going up and up. So this is what is happening right now. And guys, also let me know if the stream looks okay. It keeps telling me my stream status is poor. So just let me know if I'm coming in lagged or if I'm coming in okay. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if the video looks good and all that stuff. Just let me know. I had to check on the fam. Yeah, I've been doing daddy camp because we did all the camps. We did aquarium camp, we did American Sign Language camp. We've done, what other camp? We did my friend had a camp. We brought her to that camp, and now we've been doing daddy camp where I've been taking her to the historical spots in town. And it's been fun. But yeah, so it's been a busy summer. It's been a busy summer. All right. So yeah, okay, so everything looks good. Okay, chat says it looks good. Cool. All right. So let's see. Let's go. So the top fans apparently, of course, this guy is Jason Crypto, Jason Beats. Shout out to Jason Beats and Loco for Crypto. We got Don Cabrera, number 2 spot. Let's go. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for continuing to show up. You guys show up to crypto. You're showing up to the live streams. You're showing support. You know, you're learning. You're building up your bags. You're giving me your thoughts. You know, I love it. I love connecting with you guys. I really appreciate it. Definitely means a lot to have anyone watching this live stream at any point, especially when it is, quote, the most boring times in crypto and where people are quitting, which makes it still blows my mind that whilst we have all of the bullish catalysts we could ever want, that we've been wanting for the longest time being in crypto, we wanted institutional adoption, we wanted regulatory clarity, we wanted a Bitcoin ETF, we wanted more meme adoption. We wanted better, just like all of this stuff, and we got it. And now when we got all those things, we have less people interested in crypto. But we had the most people interested in crypto when it was just Elon just talking about Doge going on to SNL. Do you see the mind F that is? It's like, what? So it can just be it could be a little weird. It's like it's like some weird episode of the Twilight Zone. You know, it's like we're all in this, like us, that we're just still interested and we want to learn about this stuff. We want to be here. We want to see, how things are developing. We don't want to check out. We don't want to be like, oh, let me take a break. No, we want to keep locking in. We don't want to take our eyes off of this thing. This thing that's happening right now is like watching a revolution happen and you being a part of it, as long as you're paying attention to it. If you're not, and you're just like on the sides and you're like, So I'm going to tell you guys, you're smart. You're in the right place. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and you might think you're crazy, but I'm here to tell you that you're not. You might be a little mental, but you're not crazy. You're not crazy, guys. You feel that feeling. You know you're paying attention to the right thing. You know why you have laser eyes right now. What's going on? We got BC Port Corp. What's going on? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the chat. So today's live stream, I actually wanted to analyze, and shout out to Lasers. We got Lasers in the house. So this is what I wanted to do today, because I have this is the stuff that I've just kind of put my focus on. I kind of narrowed it down to where if I'm going to DCA into stuff, if I'm going to pay attention, I'm just going to keep it simple and not have it spread across a bunch of stuff and just like have too many narratives going on, too many things. So for this portfolio for me is like a no-brainer. I've understood the charts and why they move the way they do. It has a couple different narratives. It's got layer 1s and layer 2s. It's got Oracle. It's got memes. It's got the essentials. You'll notice, there's not some coins in here you would think would be in here, but I think it's a good list. So we're going to analyze this, and actually we have AI analyzing it. I put this portfolio into, and right now in terms of the amount of money invested, it's about between a $5,000 to $7,000 portfolio. I think that's about how much we were averaging, to just give someone like a scope of what a portfolio could look like if you have about between, I don't know, $5,000 to $7,000 to invest, because that's about the average of what someone will start with. If they're going to be like, okay, I want to start my bag, they probably got about $3,000. They got a couple grand. And so how would you encourage someone to diversify into that particular, particular bag? We've seen recently, and this was before Bitcoin was just breaking all-time high. I mean, it was still going sideways. So we were still saying have a portfolio that was heavy Bitcoin to keep it strong, because Bitcoin was outperforming all the altcoins. So if you had a portfolio that was about 60% Bitcoin, 60-70% Bitcoin, and the rest was alts, your portfolio was holding up really strong, because for the past year and a half, 2 years even, alts have been bleeding into Bitcoin, and there's only been a couple of different altcoins that did well and went up like 1,000%, and it was a very small basket. I mean, we had like Bonk, I know Dog with Hat did some crazy numbers at Pepe, Floki, Dogecoin. Dogecoin's on the lower side, but still did really well. But there was really just kind of a basket of things that really outperformed Bitcoin, but very much in the short term. And then Bitcoin just consistently was still performing over the alts as a whole in the market. And you see it by the ratios of ETH BTC and, all those different ratios of Bitcoin against the alts. And so I would still consider to have Bitcoin be a good portion of your of your portfolio, because it keeps it stable. It's not as volatile. Like, it will still have price swings, obviously. We went from 110K all the way back down to 98 and then back up to 110. So obviously there's volatility, but it's not as bad as alts going down 90% and then, oh my gosh, and then another 20%, and then they shoot up shoot up 50, and then they go down 20, and you're just like, so your portfolio, how I was saying, if you want to have a little bit more risk, you can add a little more risk by saying, okay, if I have $5,000, just put $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 just straight into Bitcoin. And you could even go as far as, okay, I'm going to do a split and go in and do a half split of that $3,500 or $4,000 and do like half Bitcoin, half ETH. And then the rest of that, you can kind of splice it up and pick and choose between your meme allocation. You can say, okay, well, I did buy Ethereum. Okay, well, then what's second under Ethereum? You could say, all right, I'll pick Solana or Sui or Say, or, you could do AVAT, whatever it may be. You can kind of like pick that second one you want to put a little more size in. So then you can say, all right, I'll put $1,000 into Solana. And then on a Solana and Ethereum, we know there's meme coins. What are the top traded meme coins in terms of Ethereum? Well, so in our portfolio, we have Pepe, we have Harry Potter, Obama Sonic 10 Inu. Those are our ETH memes that we like, our favorite ones. And then we also like Wojak too. We're gonna build up a little bag of Wojak. I think we're in Wojak season. That's a topic of another, for another live stream. But because we're going to keep it very focused here with the portfolio. And then on Solana, so say you have Solana, you're like, okay, what's the top traded coins on Solana? Well, in terms of volume, it was the Trump token, and then also Ponky. Ponky was, I think, still pretty undervalued. And when Solana starts to go, it matches Solana's price action really well. So whenever Solana is going to break all-time highs and start breaking out, then we could see things like Ponky, or if you like Bonk, or if you like Popcat, or any of those memes that are top traded memes could potentially give you some solid returns. So you get a little exposure into whatever is high traded volume, good communities and things like that, but specifically focus on the ones that have like loud communities. It seems like it's a real community. It's not kind of like this fake fabricated following, which can be easily created. I think the most natural community is the Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu with the Sprotos because of the NFTs. So it's kind of like this NFT, token holder fusion, and it just looks like it's just there's real holders, real people, especially when you make a post. You make a post and you tag the Sprotos, watch them show up. And that's an example. I know SPX 6900 is similar to that. I know people, some of these communities are really good at rating, you know. That's a good sign if a community, a meme coin community is very loud. So, all right. So then keep going down the list. Then if there's a coin that has been maybe an Ethereum ERC20 token, and you've been and ETH is going to, I think, perform very well going into the next couple years. I mean, I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. So XYO, whenever Ethereum has done really well, this is my Oracle play. So this is how I'm showing you how there's diversification into different narratives, and you have exposure into alts, and then you're not spread all over the place. Like you have your reasonings for why you are in a specific area. Doesn't have to be these coins. That's the thing. That's the beauty of this, is that it doesn't have to be. This could be what's another Oracle? I think what is it? I think it's like Mantle or Ondo or one of those that's on Solana that's kind of very similar to XYO. So it could be one of those. It could be one of those coins. You know, and that can be your swap out for XY, or you could be bullish on XYO. So this is going off of the strength of that particular narrative, the Oracle stuff, the off-chain, on-chain data syncing, and knowing where your products are, or, you know, weather data. It's all kinds of, oh my gosh, so many use cases. So, and then you got the Polygon ecosystem. I think it's super OG. The Polygon ecosystem was the highest performing altcoin actually in the last cycle, if you guys remember. And it's still a good institutional pick, and it's still used. It has a lot of stables, and it has a lot of active addresses. So action on Polygon still a thing. AVAX, same deal. Performed really well in the last cycle. Active addresses, also tapping into multiple different narratives. Like banking institutional adoption, but then also gaming infrastructure because of the handling of the transactions per second that I can handle with games like Off the Grid. So AVAX, solid play. Crow is going off the ecosystem of crypto.com, which I think is getting heavily into the sports betting, the stock options that you can do, just everything. If you go on the crypto.com app, it's like you can just basically do everything all in terms of prediction markets, sports betting, crypto, stocks, having your own bank account basically on that app, and also using the debit card. Link in the description, by the way. But yeah, so Arbitrum I've been pretty bullish on for a while, but now I'm even more bullish because Robinhood is using them for their layer 2. And also Arbitrum has a lot of stables, and also Wyoming, according to news, chose Arbitrum for their stablecoin minting. So we've talked about how if you follow the chains that are going to be having a crap ton of bridge TVL and also a lot of stables. So we're paying attention to Optimism, Near Protocol, Sui, Optos, Avalanche, Polygon, Arbitrum, Hyperliquid, Base. We're paying attention to Binance Smart Chain, Solana, Tron, Ethereum. It's at this point at the top 12 right here, top 13. A lot of bullish stuff in here. And then Sonic kind of starting to creep up as well. A lot of things we can pay attention to. But there's reasonings behind it, It's not just on a whim or something because someone, KOL is talking about it. Brett is going off of the base chain being the most popular traded token in the meme that was able to cross a $2 billion market cap before everyone, 4 months into its creation. And so this I still think is a really solid play. I think now at 4 cents, it's kind of at the bottom. You're at the bottom of the chart in terms of where it was. And in terms of bottomed out charts right now, there's 3 coins that are at such a great buy zone in terms of you wanting to buy a bottomed out chart, and it's Wojak, Brett, and ticker Bitcoin, which all three of those, in my opinion, are solid memes and have actually solid communities as well. You can't beat the Wojak meme. You literally can't beat the lore of ticker Bitcoin, and you can't beat the also connection with Brett to Pepe and how this coin was actually able to get up into 2 billion 2 different times. So pretty crazy. Dogecoin, don't have to explain it. We know why we like Dogecoin. It's just the OG meme, and I think Dogecoin can get way past $1. I think dollar is bearish. Same with ticker Bitcoin. It's like ticker Bitcoin going to $1 is bearish. Ponky, we explained why. Immutable X is gaming infrastructure. So gaming infrastructure is going to be the hot ticket whenever we start to get some action in the alt in general. Gaming bull run is going to be almost a whole separate bull run on its own. And so we want to have exposure into some low cap stuff like Nakamoto Games, Medieval Empires, and then, you know, getting in a little more high cap stuff that's actually the gaming infrastructure is IMX, because that's like the NFTs, the connection between your NFTs and your game. They can actually help you even with doing passport sign-in for your whole game project. They have the immutable marketplace. So big potential there. And there's other stuff that is very similar to this that you could invest in that's probably super low cap too, or maybe mid cap. Like I think immutable right now, in terms of market cap, it's almost close to $1 billion already. So, I mean, but all-time high market cap for this thing was at like 5 billion. So, and this wasn't even that long ago. This was just March of last year. Why did it do this well? Well, what pumped 20% in one day of March of last year? Or a little close to it. Ethereum did. Ethereum pumped. We'll show you. We love showing this candle because this is the perfect example of how when ETH wakes up, it sends massive confidence into the into Ethereum. We got to go back to 2024. It was a one daily candle. It was right here. We hit $2,800 right here, a bottom descending wedge. We had this descending wedge right here. That was kind of like the close to all-time high. We tried to break all-time high. We got very close. But also you got to remember, ETH crossed over the EMA ribbon right here. That's also a bullish signal too. You cross over that EMA ribbon. When we do that on the daily, ETH can just go up 88%. And so we're kind of like sitting around in that area where, I mean, we're due for a pop here. But look, Ethereum in one day went up 19%, and this was in May. Freaking crazy. Went up 19%. It had that consolidation, but look at that. That is and then you can even just see right here in March, the reason why we're having so much of these altcoins give us that teaser. It was like a teaser altcoin season of what we are looking for. It was because of Ethereum. And then you bring it into the Bitcoin ratio of ETH BTC, and let's look and see where it was around that time in 2024. March, May, whatever. Look, it was up at the 0.5 range, which is exactly where I think. Yeah, I mean that for Ethereum to go up 20% in a day, that was a god candle. I mean it was wild. I remember because then I saw everything just started going. It was just like insane. That was what just broke. I mean, that's what sent some of these coins that are connected with Ethereum just going insane. So you have to think about it like in terms of you just holding spot these things, or even just being in like very low risk leverage positions to swing long when we see what ETH can do. This is how we can really like we can make back all the money we lost, my friends. But this is what I see in the path of the ETH BTC ratio, just kind of getting hopefully a overarching, V-shaped recovery. We get back into that 0.03 or at least 0.05 ratio of Bitcoin to ETH, because look, Bitcoin's going to be busting up into those levels and really probably breaking all-time highs again, and it's going to have some sell pressure. And I think that's when we're going to see the flippening. It's like Bitcoin's been pumping. Okay, so it's going to cool off, and then it's going to go into Ethereum. Ethereum's going to see that action. Laser eyes are going to be on Ethereum, and then we know what happens when Ethereum does what we just showed. It sends coins flying. Altcoin sentiment gets so high that risk is on. It means risk is on, and people are ready to either like go to Valhalla or a risk to lose it all. The risk as appetite starts to turn on. Because the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap in the world now is pumping. So that, for institutions and everyone, is the signal that it's game on. And it is as simple as that. All right, so let's go back into the portfolio here. Now we're going to analyze it with AI, and we're going to see what it says. Okay, so total holdings value, 8,689. Number of assets is 19. So you see, it's not like 100 different cryptos. Even 19 is still a lot. But the asset types, it's got major cryptos like BTC, ETH, and Sol, memes like Doge, Pepe, Brett, and Trump, and other altcoins like Pol, AVAX, and Chainlink. Performance is mixed, with some assets showing significant gains like XYO, 61%, and other substantial losses like Ponky got hit pretty hard. Overall portfolio appears to have a mix of profitable and unprofitable positions, with the net unrealized loss on several assets. So the diversification analysis. So diversification refers to the spreading investments across different assets to reduce the risk. And a well-diversified portfolio typically includes a variety of asset types, sectors, and risk profiles to mitigate volatility and potential losses. So the number of assets, the portfolio holds 19 cryptos, which is a reasonable spread for a crypto portfolio, reducing the risk of a single asset's failure, significantly impacting the overall value. So, and that's kind of so when you start to think about the diversification, you're like, okay, you'll have to analyze like what altcoin is worth holding where it hasn't completely destroyed your portfolio, but it has at least recovered some. All right. So the mix of asset type, we have some high caps like Bitcoin, Ethereum, the blue chips. We have the mid caps like the Sol, AVAX, Chainlink, Arbitrum, established layer ones and layer twos. With the combination of that, got the smart contracts, a little DeFi. I'd love to actually honestly add Aave into the bag as well, because I looking at that Aave chart, man, woo, it looks good. And then we got the low caps, which ticker Bitcoin, Ponky, Pepe. Pepe I wouldn't consider a low cap at this point. But the sector exposure, payment, store of value, we got smart contracts, scaling solutions, which is the Arbitrum, Optimism, and Pol, oracles like Chainlink. And then also I would put XYO into that bag as well. Gaming and NFTs, which is the IMX, Naka, and the Me token, which is the kind of lower cap stuff. And then we got the memes and the speculative assets, which is Pepe, Brett, Trump, Ponky, ticker Bitcoin. And then we mentioned Wojak, but we didn't add in this particular portfolio. Altcoin spread, no single asset dominates excessively. BTC and ETH together account for about 51% of the portfolio. So that's a pretty decent spread. So it just means like, okay, we're kind of getting close to 60%. I think maybe 70% would be maybe even more fair to have allocated to BTC and ETH. But this one has a little bit more risk appetite in this particular portfolio. It says, which is reasonable for anchoring the portfolio in stable assets while smaller allocations of speculative coins limit the exposure of any major drawdowns, but also high risk, high reward. Okay, so the weakness in the portfolio is heavy allocation to BTC and ETH, while BTC 37%, ETH 13% are stable. Over 50% of the portfolio is concentrated in these two assets, which could limit upside potential if altcoins outperform. So there's still that type of risk. High exposure to meme coins, assets like Pepe, Bitcoin, Brett, Trump, and Ponky are highly speculative with significant losses in some. Brett being down, negative 53%, Ponky down 70%. These account for 20% of the portfolio, increasing volatility in the risk. The low cap risk, several assets like Naka, XYO are low cap coins with limited liquidity and higher risk of price manipulation or project failure. So uneven allocation. Some assets have very small holdings like Optimism, Naka, which may not meaningfully contribute to the portfolio performance and could increase transaction costs and efficiencies. I don't know if there was getting that particular value right. Let's see, diversification rating. I told it to rate the portfolio in terms of the diversification from a 0 to 10, and it gave me a 7. So the portfolio is reasonably diversified with 19 crypto assets across multiple sectors, risk profiles. The inclusion of both blue chip and speculative coins provides a balance of sustainability and growth potential. However, the heavy weighted towards BTC and ETH combined with significant exposure to high-risk memes, coins, and low-cap assets slightly reduces diversification score. A more balanced allocation across mid-cap altcoins and fewer speculative meme coins would improve the diversification score. So maybe if we had a little bit more into the mid, to the mid-cap blue chip kind of stuff, then it would give me a better score. But that's not too bad. A 7 out of 10. I'd say that's pretty reasonable. All right, sustainability analysis. So I wanted to see if it was a sustainable portfolio. Sustainability. The strengths is it has strong core holdings like BTC and ETH, exposure to growing sectors like Solana and Avalanche and Arbitrum, Optimism, and Chainlink. We've seen have been scaling and have been doing well. These have been the talk of the town, getting a lot of institutional adoption. Some profitable positions. I think obviously XYO has been doing well. BTC has been doing well. Chainlink, I wouldn't say he's been kind of doing okay. It's like a stable coin, altcoin. And let's see, low leverage. The portfolio does not indicate using any use of leverage, but we did not tell it that. We're not gonna tell it everything because we have used leverage and we've been getting rocked, but we're gonna change that. High volatility in meme coins, the weakness, low cap risk, underperforming assets. Because some of the altcoins have just been not doing very well. Market sensitivity. The portfolio is heavily exposed to crypto market cycles. A bear market could disproportionately impact speculative assets. So if they're for instance, because of the nature of having more altcoins in your portfolio, you do have more risk of major drawdowns and also very violent moves to the upside, but there also could be very violent moves to the downside. So that's what you have to understand coming into crypto, especially as a new investor. You could do this and start this portfolio right now with $5,000 and literally the next day can see it go down 20%. And you're going to think to yourself, what did I just do? Or it could even go down 30. I mean, there could be Trump could tweet something and all TA goes out the window. Someone could do something in the world geopolitically and all TA goes out the window and then this stuff starts crashing and you're like, what? I remember getting bullish on Bitcoin when Elon was talking about it and said, Tesla's going to acquire Bitcoin. Guess what? I think a week or 2 weeks later, it went down 25%. It went, and also there was like a tweet that Elon made one time about saying, Bitcoin's not good for the environment. One tweet from one person sent Bitcoin down 25%. So you have to understand this going into crypto, that you have to survive the massive swings of volatility, because at the point of where we do get to Raoul Paul's banana zone, which everyone's been like, when banana zone, it is still in play. If you look at the rainbow chart, no banana zone has happened yet, okay? But we are on our way. We are on our way. We've been in a sideways market since 2022. We had this little zone right here where we had a nice little pump, but if you count this and then this, it's just been sideways in terms of where we could be going and where the trajectory is for a cycle after the halving. Give me just a second, guys. Give me just a second. All right, I'm back. Yeah, and Lasers is saying probably the last great time to accumulate Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, so we're gonna show this chart again, this rainbow chart. I mean, yeah, look, I mean, you gotta think, like, if we're still in this yellow zone, it was still cheap. We're hodling. We're still technically I would say we're still in a good accumulation zone. We're still in a good accumulation zone, and we haven't hit the orange red area yet, going after the halving. Every single halving cycle that we've passed, we've always at least gone into the second to last color right here. This like dark, reddish orange level. We've even gone and tipped it. I mean, we went into the red the first half. After the first halving, went into the red after the second halving, and the third one, we at least we were getting close, but we got rugged. We had all the bad actors in the space. We had all the capitulations and the bankruptcies, and we got rugged. So we were probably on our way to hit that red zone here too, and maybe just consolidate into the green, and but because history a lot of times rhymes, it doesn't repeat exactly, but we've always gone into the blue in a bear market. Sometimes longer than others, like out of 2015-16, out of this first, run here, we were in the blue for a hot minute, and then we ran into the red again. Here we touched in the blue and then priced out of it. Then we went into COVID. You can kind of see it's almost like Bitcoin and the world just kind of was preparing for that to happen, especially the insiders that knew that was coming down the pipe. Lucky son of a guns. Probably shorted the crap out of it. And then right here, lucky son of a guns again, we know it's going to recover, because then if you look at the S&P 500, you look at gold, you look at everything from this point of whenever, we got out of the, went into COVID, that was the blast off point. I think that Bitcoin went as low as $5,000 or something like that. Yeah, it was like 5K or something, right there, and then it went from 5K all the way to an all-time high of $67,000. Imagine you taking even just a little bit of your that stimulus check, and putting it immediately into Robinhood and buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe even, I don't know, I think Dogecoin was on Robinhood at that point too. People did some numbers, and if you were to had put all of your stimulus checks just directly into investments and into the S&P, you could have even just put it into S&P 500 and then held it up to these points. Woo! Craziness. But real quick, let's shout out to everyone who's here. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you very much. We got 11 likes, but only 3 people are viewing. So we had some people come in. We had some people like the live stream, and then maybe they just had to peace out. But we have been live streaming for a good almost a full hour. But shout out to Lasers. Shout out to Not Me, Not You, But Who. Shout out to BC Bitcoin. Is that Bitcoin Port Corp? I got to see this channel. We got to go to this channel. We've never seen this channel before. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's BC. Okay, BC. All right, let's go. All right, got 59 subscribers. All right, everyone, right now, go and subscribe to BC Port Corp, a gamer's nerdy guide to investment fundamentals. No shilling, all fun and learning. So let's go. Probably playing some games. I probably just, let's see, how long has the channel been going? It was about a year ago. 2 months ago, back to the basics. All right, yeah, so you start kind of getting it. Oh, but then we got the live. Okay, here we go. Got a little bit of the live. Cool. Now you have 60 subscribers. Let's go. Nice. I love this. I love this. You can get like experience points now. I don't know if you guys have been digging this on YouTube, where you're getting experience points for certain channels and like being either the top watcher. So right now we got Lasers up top. We got Blackie Chan. That's funny. Blackie Chan. We got Loco for crypto, 3rd place. 4th, Jason. 5th, Bought the Top. Love it. Let's see, and thank you to all of the people that are watching on X as well. Had a nice little group of people, but not very talkative in the chat though. Love it. Let's see. Let's actually go. We got to go to the actual live stream. Nice little group of people. How do we actually get in the live, like fully in the live? There we go. And then we got the chat on the side. Let's see. Yo, 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 yo. What's good? All right, so we had a couple posts. This is interesting. Marty Party's been showing us that Binance still for July hasn't given any proof of reserves, and apparently, like they don't have Bitcoin. Like I don't know if like they just because they hold a lot of BNB. Obviously, it's Binance. I mean, they're going to hold primarily more of their token, especially for the chain. But I don't think they have as much Bitcoin as they are selling. I have this theory that it's kind of just like gold with these exchanges. Like Coinbase doesn't have the amount of Bitcoin that is actually like could make everyone whole. So what I mean by that is like imagine like everyone goes to the bank and tries to withdraw their money. The bank doesn't have that much money. That's funny. That's funny, Bullish on Parade. He said, send me 1 XRP and I'll send you a gazillion bin coins. Yeah, who else has Bitcoin dust in their wallet? Who else has like the remnants of rug pulls and false promises? But yeah, I have this theory that these exchanges they wouldn't be able to make everyone whole if like all the people were like, yeah, I'm going to withdraw all my Bitcoin right now. So I would like my Bitcoin. There would be delayed requests. There would be all this stuff. They'd be like, sorry, we're freezing your account because you broke the rules. And you'd be like, wow. Like, and then that's when I think we're going to see the squeeze. That's when we're going to see the Ethereum squeeze. We're going to see the Bitcoin squeeze. We're going to find out that all these exchanges are scammers and that they don't have the proof of reserves. And we should have been buying all this stuff on chain to begin with and just using self-custody. And I think that's really going to come down the pipe. If the people win, then that's what's going to happen. Everyone's going to realize that these exchanges are the problem. And really, if we just bought it all on chain, we would be protected and we wouldn't get burned. If we learn anything from what we learned from FTX and Voyager and Celsius and BlockFi and all those garbage platforms that took our money, we will never do that again. We will never let that happen to us again. We have the option to buy this stuff on chain right now, but we still are trusting these exchanges with our money. It's ridiculous. If we all did that right now, if everyone in crypto said, give me my crypto, it would be a disaster. We would learn that they probably don't even have it. That's what happened with Voyager. That's what happened with what's happened with all of those platforms. People try to get their crypto and they were like, sorry, we lent it out without asking you. And you don't get the benefit from it. You just get to have court file, you're just then now you're a creditor. You're not an investor. You're a creditor now. Isn't that funny? You thought you were investing. Now you're a creditor. It's just crazy. All right, so Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was cooling off a little bit. We had to cool off. Bitcoin was going all day yesterday. It had to cool off. So no, I don't use Market Cipher. I can barely afford to DCA into crypto. I can't afford to freaking buy a bunch of indicators and stuff. If someone will just gift me a lifetime subscription, then sure, I'll use it. But I ain't got time to buy a bunch of indicators. I mean, Market Cipher is literally money flow RSI, and just like you can see the same damn things on a MACD and an RSI line and price action. So I mean, if I can get good at using that, I don't need to buy an indicator. I mean, why would I've realized this. It's like there's plenty of free things that you can use, and if you just learn how to use the basics, then I don't need to pay for shit. Pay for anything. Same goes with trading courses. Like with Jason Casper, I mean, if you pay for his course, but he literally has a whole section of free videos that you can learn. Skittles Athena is asking where I'm from. I'm originally from Mississippi. I was born in Mississippi, and then I moved to a really nice, beautiful state that I'm not going to tell you guys where. If you haven't already guessed it by now, then I don't know what to tell you. But I don't directly like telling people where I live. But yeah, Bitcoin, that candle I don't like. That's a scammy wick. That's scammy wick trap people, and I don't like it. Cause like, look, if you look at the uptrend, it's a little weak now. We have a bearish divergence at the top here. Yeah, I don't like that. That's a nasty one. That's a nasty bearish divergence. Yeah, Laser said, I live on Earth. I live in space. That's where I live. And guys, check out Constant Swimmer. Yeah, Bitcoin's cooling off. That's why I said yesterday I could have FOMO traded. I could have caught the FOMO bug, but I was like, no, dude, don't do it, because you know what the market loves doing, the market makers, they love trapping traders in FOMO. Because I would have FOMO'd right at the freaking top of resistance whilst people are selling right there. If you weren't getting down, if you didn't get an entry in here, that's it. Or even kind of like halfway through the momentum, that was it. Like you look at yesterday and like this 107, that was kind of it. That was your entry. And you had a choice to take profits right here. See if it kept momentum, you don't know. I mean, it could have went down right here. You take profits here. You don't know if it's going to continue the downtrend, especially. It could Could have went right back to entry. It loves doing that, going right back to entry. But no, it held above the ribbon, the EMA ribbon, had a nice bounce. Oh, but then I mean, again, nice little fake down. But then now you can really see how now they'll bring it down back to entry. Now they ran it up enough. They ran it up enough to get what they wanted. Now they're going to flush the longs. They're going to flush these longs right here. They're going to liquidate them. And this would be the obvious point where they would bring it into liquidation levels right here. Boom. They smashed those traders. That would have been me yesterday going long, and now they're going to wreck them. Look, they're getting eaten alive right now. They're getting slaughtered. All the people that just caught the bullish bug and were like, let's go long. You look at the charts long enough, you can see it. You look at the charts long enough, you can finally see the traps being set. Bearish divergence. But all right, guys, I think we've covered enough. Did a nice portfolio breakdown. And yeah, if there's any questions, concerns, let me know. Questions, answers, debates, discussions. What do you have for me? What do you got? What do you got? Anyone at all? Last 5 minutes, we're going to do a little quick Q&A. Plan B released a video 4 hours ago. We're going to watch this after we get off the live stream because we are very curious to see what Plan B thinks about the prediction, Bitcoin price prediction for the rest of the cycle. We know that Bitcoin loves to do this kind of staircasing thing. Stock to flow model looks like it's still in play. Get right there. That's about, I mean, that's a $500,000 per Bitcoin right there if this follows the stock to flow model. Same with coming up in here, stock to flow, October, red. We would have a red October. We're going to have a red October. That means Bitcoin could banana zone into 309,000, an average price of 309,000, between 309,000 and 417. October this year, baby. But it ain't going to come without its crazy volatility like we're seeing right now. That's why it's like if you just let the market cool off, there's always going to be another day to trade. As bad and sidelined as I was feeling yesterday, I feel like I did something. You know what? This is great. This is great. I actually, you know what? I'm going to give myself credit. Yesterday, I did not take a single trade. I didn't trade at all. That's better than trying to trade. No trade is a trade. Because yesterday, I felt all the feelings of trying to find liquidity or take from a spot bag to go into try and put in a trade or whatever, do this, do that. And it's just like, I told myself, I was like, you know what, Daniel, don't do that. Because that, every single time, if you go into your track record, how many times have you done this and it's been successful? Be honest with yourself. How many times have you done that and how many times was it successful? Less times than it was successful? Okay, cool, Daniel. Then yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Stop repeating the same mistakes. Stop doing the same thing that is keeping you from progressing. So, yesterday was actually a good day because I didn't fall for the FOMO and get trapped. And get freaking trapped. I would have gotten trapped right at the top and gotten destroyed. No thanks. I will find my entry. You live to trade another day, and the charts are always there. I don't know if you guys feel that. I don't know if you feel that, vibe that, but that's how I'm feeling. You got to find your wins somewhere, because if you don't, you'll just find all the negative things, find all the bad things. That's what I was doing yesterday. I was still just thinking about all the mistakes I made, all the stuff that keeps me up at night, the things that make me have nightmares, like that kind of stuff, like just all the things over the past 3 years. I was like, it was swirling like a hornet's nest in my mind, and it sent me into a really bad place. So what you have to do is you have to find something. You have to find something to grab onto. It's like whatever it may be, it's the branch that's like the only branch you can grab before you're falling off the cliff and you're about to roll down. You're just like, gah! And you grab the branch. You're like, okay, I'm grateful for this branch. The branch. I have the branch. So you gotta grab onto something. You have to find something. You're like, okay. So, okay, cool. I was feeling all that yesterday, but did you trade? Did you succumb to the FOMO? No. Okay, then that was something. Then that was something. And so if you're feeling what I just explained, if you're feeling that, try and focus on the things that you feel like you did right. Find something that you feel like you're like, okay, I feel good about that. At least I did that. Because you can get yourself and dig yourself into a hole and start like burying yourself and throwing the dirt on yourself. And it's hard to get out of that sometimes. So, and especially when you're feeling either like something about with your investments or your portfolio, it can get even crazier. Trust me. So I hope that helps. It's helping me. And we still have time. The crypto markets will always make you feel like you need to rush into something, but really the name of the game is patience, conviction, long-term outlook. It's a long play. We've always been convinced that it's the short term, like, oh, just kind of like pay attention to a little like here, there, daily. No, it is a long play. It's always been the long play. Anything that's like this to get in and to change your life substantially will not be easy, and you have to ride the volatility, aka the long play. So let's lock in, my friends. Let's stay vigilant. Let's not take the laser eyes off of this industry where we were here before everyone, me and you, before the institutions, before the big money. We were here spewing out the, like on the mountaintop. So let's show them why. Let's not leave now. Let's not give up now. We came in here with zero money from nothing. These institutions are coming in with their printed 0% interest capital, stock, borrowing against their stock. Let's show them. Let's show them we didn't need that. We came in here bare bones. That takes balls. Always remember that. Always remember that. It takes balls to come in here when we barely got nothing. You're trying to make something out of yourself. So always give yourself credit that there's a reason why you're here. Don't ever forget that. While you got stool presidente Dave Portnoy getting handouts for scamming people, you just remember you don't do that. You just remember that you don't take handouts. You accept your freaking losses. You accept when you made a bad play. You don't ask for a handout. Trust me, you'll be rewarded. All right. With that being said, my friends, I'm out. Thank you. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. I hope we covered a good amount of stuff for you. And make sure you check out all the links in the description. Check out all of the links in the description of the channel. It's the best way that you can help directly support the live stream, get the thing going into the waves, into the ether. This channel is being suppressed actively, and the only way that we can break through the matrix wall is you guys. So check out all the links in the description. Share this live stream. And we'll see you on the next one. God bless. See you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day. Peace out.
This token is the end game. It's the shitcoin of shitcoin. I mean, imagine telling your coworker you're quitting because Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you coin. Boom! Imagine the media reporting on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 and you. Ticker is Bitcoin, breaking 1 billion market cap. Now, unless you hate money, go ahead and visit
HPOSNI.com.